channel. My name is F.A.Q and I'm so glad to have each and every one of you here with me today. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. On this channel, I make lifestyle videos, mommy videos, and lots of nursing videos. So today's video, I'm going to be covering or talking about my RN Bridge program, which was a super accelerated program, I have to say, because it was just an 11-month program. I got a couple of questions or comments here and there asking me to talk about it. But before we get right into today's video, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and click the notification so you get notified when new videos come up. I know it's a lot, but well, it helps me grow. So let's get right into today's video. So for backstory, and if you're new here, you might want to go watch my older videos where I talked about going into an LPN program, the reasons I did the LPN program, and also getting admission into my RN program. So short story of everything is I am from a business background, and nursing for me is kind of like a career change. So after much concentration, I decided to do the LPN route, then, you know, basically the ladder route, right? So from LPN to RN and all that good stuff. So I did my prerequisites, and after that, I went into my LPN program. So I finished my LPN program sometime around May, and I got into the RN program, I believe, in June. And right now, while making this video, we are currently in June, and I'm done. I've taken my NCLEX and I was successful, thankfully. So I'm just here to give you all the tea, the gist, and basically the, you know, everything you need to know, and also to let you know that, yeah, there are like RN programs out there, you know, for everyone and your particular need. So my program, what was it like? First thing I want to say is it was a lot. I'm not even gonna cut it. I do know nursing school already is typically a lot, it's very challenging, but imagine when what you normally do or most schools do for 15 months or 18 months, and it's all like compressed into, I want to say 10 or 11 months, because we did start in June and I took my finals, I believe, the end of April, and my actual graduation was May 16th. So I want to say 10 months. So it's a lot. So the requirement pretty much was simple that many other schools I've seen. So for instance, all they really needed you to have done is your English 101, your English 102, AMP1, and while it's encouraged for you to do AMP2 and microbiology and all that, it's not a prerequisite to get into the program. But my honest opinion, if you can get it done before the program, it's always the best, because those are heavy classes, and nursing on its own, it's really heavy. So it's kind of challenging doing everything together. So in terms of T-score, if I remember correctly, what you actually need is a 60. All right. So I do know for my LPN program, they needed a 50 for the LPN, but for the RN, is a 60. And a quick disclaimer, I want to say these are the facts and information according to my experience as at the time while I'm filming this video. I don't know when you'll be watching this. It's possible that things might have been changed, so please do your research. For my school, you're required to have a benchmark. You have to get 60 for the total mark for T's, and then you do have to get a minimum of 50 for the math and for the English. And that's pretty much all you need to apply into the program. So now for getting into the program itself, I always tell people this, because I hear horror stories of long wait lists, of, you know, being turned down by a school 3, 4, 5 times. I believe it's easier to get into my school than it is to get into lots of schools. But the problem or the challenge comes from actually being able to stay. I almost failed in my last semester. All right, so getting in is not as difficult as being able to make it through the program, because what happens is throughout the duration of the program, you see people keep falling off. If you fail a course, some schools make allowance for you to like retake the course and all that kind of stuff. For us, it was kind of different. And even if I know a couple of people who came back, you know, the next year, I feel like waiting a year to come back, it's enough, you know, discouragement for tons of people. So you find that some people don't want to wait a full year before they can come back. So pretty much how the program works is you get into the program, it's a points-based system, okay? So say for instance, you get a 70 on T's, all right? And then each of your prereqs, they have like how much it counts for. And then for those who are from like the community right there, Salem community, they get an additional point. So those who are graduates of Salem College, so LPN in this case, they get a certain points, which I received. So that's pretty much how it works. And at the end of the day, every point is totaled, and whatever your total is determines to a large extent if you do get into the program or not. The program actually starts in summer, which is in June, or for us, which was in June for us. And I had a newborn at the time, so it was really crazy for me. I had a 1 month, I believe it was already 1 month, but anyways, we were not required to come into campus. So most of the things we got to do during summertime was all online, you know, and that kind of gave me some leeway, you know, to handle like motherhood, postpartum, and the newborn phase. So by the time we're required to come in person to campus and, you know, clinicals and all that kind of stuff, it was a couple of months later in fall. And by then, you know, baby was a bit grown, so it was a bit easier to manage. So typically, you get into the program, it's like I said, it's a really accelerated program. Each week, no exaggeration, guys, we had at least 6, 7, 8 assignments or like coursework that was due. And it's required for you to, you know, do your readings before you come into class, because guess what? You're going to be tested or quizzed on it. And I'm just going to be honest, like at the beginning of the semester, I literally was like, okay, we're just going to slide by, you know, because it was just a lot trying to stay afloat. So I'm like, we're just going to wing this. But by the time we did our first test, second test, or rather quiz as it's called, and I saw my grades, I'm like, no, something has to change. Every 2 weeks, you do have a test. Then the week you don't have a test, you have a quiz. So it just kind of felt like it's go, 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 go. And there was no resting point. But I mean, it's to be expected in a 10-month program. Fall, we started out with an 8-hour clinical, and the thing with the arrangement of how the school was set up, so for us at least, I don't know if it's gonna change, you get to do your clinical in a particular site or in a facility, and that's pretty much where we stayed from beginning to end of the program. I have to say, this has its pros, it has its cons. One of the biggest pros for me was my clinical instructor. She was the sweetest, not worse. She is the sweetest. Like, she made the hours so much more bearable, because after a while, the clinical hours jumped from 8 hours to 12 hours. And it's so torturous to just be there and keep looking at the time, literally. But if you have a clinical instructor that's good and that knows what they're doing, it does make a difference, because she started farming us out to the different departments, the various places in the hospital. And personally, it gave me the opportunity to, you know, decide or to get to experience like different specialties or areas of the clinic or the hospital, and decide like, oh, I like this. Oh, I don't like this. Maybe not so much, you know. That's one of the biggest pros. And in nursing school, as you know, you need your cheerleaders, you need those, you know, that understand what you all are doing, what you all are going through. And being on the same clinical group for the whole duration of the program, in no time, you're the closest people you got in the program. Because at a point, aside from the hospital setting, we had to come in for simulation in the college. and you're grouped or you're required to come in based, for the most part, based on your clinical group. So aside from this set of people I'm talking about, your classmates, you do see them during classes, and then you see them during the clinical setting. And in no time, lots of times, people, they begin to form like groups, WhatsApp group, or like group text, and you guys become so close, because you're gonna cuss out your teachers, you're gonna cuss out, like, you're gonna question yourself, like, why did I do this? And these people are gonna be there to be like, you got this, we got this, like, one more semester, one more trimester to go, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so for us, that's one of the biggest proof. A big con for me, which I really don't know how I feel right now, to be honest, is the fact that if you're in the clinical setting and it's tense, you're stuck in it for the most part till you're done with the program. When I mean it's tense, if you have a horrible instructor, if the setting, the clinical setting is horrible and all that kind of stuff, that's pretty much it. You just have to suck it in for the most part, right? And as you all know, like for me, my clinical setting, we didn't have any L&D. We didn't have, like, it was a smaller facility, so certain things were lacking. And what that meant for us was, you know, you didn't get to experience those things. I did labor and delivery, I did maternity, I did, you know, but I never really got to experience that part of nursing in the clinical setting, because where I was posted to never had that. And in my LPN program, coincidentally, I was also in the same clinical group. Now, the reason why I wouldn't complain too much about these is because, for those of you who followed my journey so far, you would know that I lived in Delaware at the time and I schooled in New Jersey. So what this meant was I had a travel time, and I got points for always being late. I don't know how, but it's not like, for real though, it's not such a long travel. 30-35 minutes, I'm good, I'll be in school. But somehow, I'm always so like cutting it close, and I end up being late. So why I said, in a way, I'm grateful that I got my clinical site is because that was the closest clinical site to me. It took me roughly maybe 40 minutes to get there, and I was grateful for that, because you had to be in clinicals at 6:30, and what that meant is, for the most part, I woke up at 5 o'clock in order to be able to make the time, because I have like other things to take care of before going out. So other clinical sites were so much further than that, and I probably would have had over 1 hour drive time if I was sent to do. So for that, I'm grateful, and well, that worked out. So what else am I missing? So anyways, in fall, the time did increase, and then later on, from one day, it did increase to, I believe, 2 days every other week. But it was just weird the way it was all set up. But at the point, the clinical hours went up to 12 hours. Then every other Friday or a couple of Fridays later on in the program, we're required to come into school, you know, for simulation, like I said. So one big thing I have to point out is school at the time is very heavy on ATI. I know there are some programs that are heavy on HESI and all that kind of stuff. My school was so heavy on ATI. My next video, I'm pretty much going to talk about the flip side of things, you know, things like tuition, study, testing strategy, even if I don't feel like I'm in the best position to do that. Guys, for the most part, and honestly just making this video because I got a couple of people ask about it, and it does make me feel good when I learn that I'm making a difference, because believe it or not, I have 2 people who got into this program this year. Basically, my videos were instrumental in them getting the needed information, getting to know about that school, and getting into that program. So all I can say is, if you're in the surrounding area, you're in Delaware, you're in New Jersey, and you're looking for you know, a nursing program, or you're thinking about going to this, then you can reach out to me. I'm going to try my absolute best to respond to you and let you know how things works and direct you to, you know, the needed information. Now, would I recommend people, or would I recommend my program to anybody? Well, that's a story for another day. If you want to find out, keep watching, subscribe, as I will upload more videos in this series. So thank you for stopping by. My name is Mercy once again, and hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye.